Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vaidya's Chess Hub. And I'm sure that you are as eager as I am to start this session. Now, in this session, what we are going to do is we are going to study a game, as you know that it's always a better thing. It's a game, and then some end game positions today. So the game that we shall study will happen first, and it's going to be a game in the Dutch defense, but from the white side. So it's the hopped on attack, and you should master that, because that is the one game or one line that you must know if you ever play d4 and your opponent plays f5. Hi to all. Hi everybody who people who are joining now. Welcome, and I hope that you are ready with your notepad and other stuff. Let me get you straight now to the chessboard, and we are good to start. Let's see what the people are saying in the chat. I want you to type yes sir, that we are ready, or something like that. Now let us see what we have so far in the chat. Well, there are people. Hi Avdut. And Jai is telling us that he played 15 plus 10 game and he won the game. Congratulations, Jai. I hope you used your time, and I would later be happy to go into your profile and check that game. Yes, Kshitij, we are going to see the Dutch defense, and I'm straight away going to dive now into the topic. So this happens if you ever play the first move as d4, and if black makes the move f5. So this is what happens, and this is the Dutch defense. Now I'm going to come on camera to say something very important. We are going to write down the entire game. Later I shall provide you time to do that. Don't make notes while the explanation is going on. As usual, I say this, and in every lecture I say this. It is better to say, because then the students spend time writing it down and they miss out on the explanation. So make sure that you are not writing anything whilst I'm explaining. Later on, I will, as usual, give you a countdown timer, and then you can write. I promise that will happen. Okay. So the first move is d4, and black has played f5. So that is what has happened so far. Now this is known as the Dutch defense. So basically here black is trying to do the reverse Sicilian or something like that. Okay. This is now an important move. White plays bishop g5. Now this is known as the hopped on attack. Important. I'm going to say the name again. It's known as the hopped on attack. HOPTON. The hopped on attack. This is to invite black, entice him into playing h6, which will happen in the game. But black did play h6. So now clearly black is asking question to the white bishop, like, what do you want to do? The bishop is on g5 and it is under attack. So white wanted more provocation. So rather more provocate black more. So in order to do that, he just played bishop back to h4, and he rightly got the response g5. Here black player was really happy, because now he is going to be able to trap the bishop, because as you can see, taking the pawn is not an option, because white will just lose a piece. And if bishop drops back, then of course black has f4 and the bishop is going to be trapped. Beautiful. So very interesting. What is white going to do now? What is white's preparation? We'll find that out very soon. So of course white did play bishop g3, and black was quick to play f4, and now the bishop is trapped. The bishop has nowhere to go. And now you should be happy if black plays f4. Now if you were to analyze this, by the way, I recommend strongly that you use leeches to analyze such games. So what will happen today is we're going to write down this game. You should go ahead and use leeches, which is absolutely an open source site, free website where you can play and analyze. You should go ahead and analyze this, and you'll find out that already, although our bishop is trapped, computer will give you an evaluation like white is plus 1.5 or something like that, in that region. Already white is better, although it is white's bishop that is trapped. So this is very interesting. The game has reached a critical point. So let me take you back to where we were. We were here on this position. And I suppose now let us go ahead and write down what happened. Okay, so I'm going to pull the notepad in front of you. Now it is here that you can start writing down stuff that I am telling you. So what happened here? White played d4 and black's response was f5. After that we played the hopped on attack, so bishop g5, and yes, black played h6. Bishop was dropped back to h4 and we got the response g5. And after white played bishop g3, you got the move f4. And by the way, well, question mark or exclamation, we'll see what to put later, but at the moment this is what is the game, and I'm going to probably ask you to write it down. If you're writing it down with me, fine, fantastic, no problem. Take about half a minute to write this because it should be over pretty soon. Just 4 moves to write down, so make sure you're jotting down properly. Okay, Prajna has just joined us. Prajna is apologizing for the delay, but Prajna, next time please be on time. You're welcome, and you have not missed much. These are the first 4 moves that we've studied so far. Hello Ishan. So Ishan Mohidekar is with us. Granth Utekar is also with us. Thanks for joining in. By the way, I hope that you all are done, because let me take you to the chat window, see what our friends are typing. Yes, they are saying that they are done. Jay is done, Kshitij is done, Chinmay is done. So I'm going to now continue. Fantastic, very good. Let us go back to our board. So we were on this position, and those who are not done writing the game, well, of course it will be there on a notepad, so you can of course go ahead and copy that later. Let us now get back to the game. Stop writing and look at the board. Okay, so it is here that white played the required and the most important move, which is e3. Now e3 is very important because now black has no time to play f takes g3. Now it is here that for the first time I would want you to participate in the chat. Let me pull up the chat window as well. So my question is, why can't black take the bishop? So I am now going to wait for your answers in the chat. You should tell me, why doesn't black have time to take our bishop? What if he plays f takes g3? Why can't he take our bishop? What will happen if he does that? So you should try to think, and I'm going to give you probably a minute, just a minute. Okay, 1 minute should be fine to come up with the answer. So I'm going to use the timer option. People have already started pitching in. So people are saying queen h5 will be checkmate. About 50 seconds for all to type their answers if you agree with that. Hello Reyansh Inamdar. Reyansh has joined us. Welcome. So a lot of players are saying queen h5 will be checkmate. Rudra is here. Hello Rudra. Learn to type using proper symbols. So some people had typed queen h5 check. Well, is queen h5 check or is queen h5 checkmate? Last 15 seconds, and then I will tell you if what you contributed was meaningful or not. 10 seconds. Some people are saying queen takes h5. Well, what is there to take on h5? I think that is Atharva Shetty. Your time is up. And now let me tell you, the correct answer is indeed queen h5 checkmate, not queen takes h5. I don't think there is anything to take on h5. So yes, it is absolutely right. Black has no time to take the bishop, because if black does so, then of course queen to h5 is just checkmate. There is no escape. So did black just lose like that? No. Well, black also was quick to play h5. Now the black player has renewed the threat of taking our bishop, because now we cannot play queen takes h5. Well, the logic being that it is now protected by this, supported by the rook on h8. So now white has to do something about the threat. He cannot just give away the bishop. But that is why I always say, that is exactly why I believe in the logic of playing with initiative and tempo. Don't just respond to what your opponent is threatening to do. You should have your own threats. So yes, our bishop is trapped. Yes, the computer will still say that white is better, and I really want you to use Leech's engine for that today. The move that white played is bishop to d3. What a fantastic move. Now bishop d3 was played, and again you will have to tell me if black can take the bishop, and I'm again going to probably give you a minute. I'm going to pull up the chat window, and you have a minute to tell me why now black cannot take our bishop. Why can't black play f takes g3? Why can't black make this move I've shown? You got 45 seconds to answer. What is white threatening to do now? Use the chat window. So Kshitij is saying bg6, but there's no capital B. He was quick to answer. Bishop. I think that B is bishop. Yes. Chinmay Iyer, bishop g6 check. Samartha is saying bishop g6 check. So everybody should check if it is checkmate. You got 20 seconds more. I think almost everybody agrees that that is the threat. And last 10 seconds before we proceed. 5 more seconds. Beautiful calculation, beautiful interaction. Your time is up. And yes, indeed, you are all right. It is bishop g6 checkmate threat. Therefore, of course, black did not take the bishop. Black played rook h6. Now the logic of playing rook h6 is that you cannot now play bishop g6 checkmate, because now the rook controls the g6 square. Okay, it's a very important principle. And now I'm going to give you 2 minutes to actually go ahead and tell me the entire continuation from now. In a minute, type the entire continuation, and I will join you after a few almost a minute. I'll join you after a minute. Type down full answer, not just the white moves, even the black move, and in order. Say move number 1, move number 2. Type it properly, please. So 5 seconds more. I'm waiting for a complete solution. Akshiti just said queen takes h5 followed by bishop g6. Your time is up. Well, what I was looking for is a complete solution, guys. So yes, and now Kshitij has typed a complete thing. So queen takes h5 check. Rook takes h5 is forced. There is no other option. And then bishop g6 checkmate. That is absolutely brilliant, and indeed that is what happened. So I will take you quickly through the moves, and congratulations for all to all those who got this. So it was indeed the case where it's queen takes h5 check. There is no other move than to deflect the rook, and now the rook controls no more controls this g6 square, and so bishop g6 is simply a beautiful checkmate. So I really am happy that all got it. So now it is up to us to go to the notepad again to complete the sequence. What a beautiful thing this game taught us about deflection, about initiative and tempo, not worrying about that bishop trapped on g3. So let us get to the notepad. This is what we had written, and we will now continue. So f4 and the bishop was trapped. What happened after the bishop was trapped? We played the move e3, and black did not have time to take the bishop because queen h5 was going to be checkmate. So he played h5. After that, what did we do? We played bishop d3. The threat was bishop g6 checkmate. He played rook h6 to stop that checkmate. and this is what you all calculated. Queen takes h5 check. The forced move was rook takes h6. It was forced, and yes, bishop g6 is indeed checkmate, and I'm going to say 1-0. So make sure that you write it down properly. Take not more than a minute to do this, and of course as soon as you are done typing, or rather writing it properly, please mention in the chat window that you're done. It is not a speed contest. Don't write something that you are later not able to read yourself. Please take your own time, but of course not more than required. Let me know in the chat window as soon as you are done. And yes, it is checkmate with a fork. In fact, it is rook takes. Yes, it is rook takes h5, guys. Yes, queen takes h5 check. It is rook takes h5. It is a miniature, guys. Correct it. It is rook takes h5 on move number 7. Thank you so much. Jay pointed that out, that it is rook takes h5. So let us see what our friends are saying in the chat window now. Well, they are saying that it is done, and Jay was the one to say it is rook takes h5. So almost everybody is done. I'm going to put up the notepad window for like 15 to 20 seconds more. Please be quick. Of course, later you can revisit this lecture. It is there available on YouTube. You can write it down. And now after this, I'm very excited to present you some important endgame positions. Again, your contribution in the chat is required. Your A batch students, not just the first move, guys. If you can see, let's say 4 to 5 moves ahead, I love that, because that is the heart of chess: planning and foresight. Fine then. So I hope you enjoyed this particular game. Remember, it is called the hop-on attack. That is the name. d4, f5 is the Dutch defense, and you play bishop g5. That is the way to go, and that's a very effective plan, especially if black has not prepared well against this line. Let's get ready for the positions. I'm going to pull the chessboard. Well, this is what we were studying. This beautiful checkmate that we had at hand. And now we are going to go and study our first position. This is white to, this is white to play. And of course, let us look at the position. Always count the material, king's position. So both the kings, of course, they are going to now battle it. All the other pieces, major pieces, have been exchanged. So white is a pawn up, but this pawn on c4 is known as a backward pawn. You can make a note of that, that such a pawn is known as a backward pawn. So the pawn on c4 is known as a backward pawn. That is a thing you can make a note of. So now I will probably give you a couple of minutes. Before that, let me come on camera. There is something important. I am going to grant you, let's say 2 minutes. 2 minutes for you to actually go ahead and see whether it is a win for white, or it is a draw, or who knows if black can win. I don't know. You find it and take your full, utilize your full time allotted, and then we will carry on the discussion further. Deeply and calmly try to think and look forward, not just the first move. I don't want the first move. What do you do, and what will your opponent do? It is white to play. I'll give you 2 minutes. Let us get back to the board. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for this, and your time actually starts now. Think about it, and I will give you some silence to think, and we will meet after the time is over. I'm sure you're giving it a proper thought. Will the extra pawn result in victory? Half a minute more before I ask you for your analysis, and we will calculate this. Visualization is an important thing. 5 seconds more. Time is up. Okay, so what is your assessment? Let us go and find that out with what our friends are saying in the chat. Well, they are saying white wins, and people. Well, I'm so happy Chinmay is the only one to share the line. Others have not shared the line. So Chinmay is saying, let me put you all only on the chat mode. So this is what Chinmay is saying. C5, b takes c5, b6, king d4, b7, king c5, b8 equal to queen. So basically, you mean that white will queen, but will black not queen? Riddhi is saying c5 the first move, b takes c5, then the white pawn promotes. Well, Prajna is saying it's a draw. I love getting different perspectives. I simply love that. Of course, I am not going to just plain and simple throw the solution at you. Let me get the chessboard. So this is the position at hand. And now, yes, let us calculate. Now think with me. Okay, very important. This is what we have to think here. Are you ready? If white plays c5, now maintain concentration. White plays c5, black plays b takes c5. Okay, then white continues with b6, black plays c4, white plays b7, black plays c2, c3, sorry, white plays b8 equal to queen, and black plays c2. So we have reached that point. But then how to stop? The king will come for the quick rescue of the pawn. What to do after that? That's the main story we got to think. So let us again go back to the chat mode and let us find out what our friends think. What's happening here? So it's a draw now, but said by most people. Rudra Mukadam is saying c5 king d4. Well, c5 king d4, white will win because there is no stopping the pawn. But why will black do that? After c5, instead of playing king d4, Rudra, black will take the pawn and go for queening himself. That is the point. So I have given enough time for all of you to contribute, and now go ahead and enjoy this. So take a look at what happened actually in the game. So what am I saying? Am I saying that it is win for white? What am I trying to say here? Yes, white will win here. It is not a draw. White will win. Important is to find out how. It is okay just to give an opinion that white will win, but the method is very important. Look at the technique. This endgame technique will be very important for you to study. Okay, so yes, indeed, white will push the pawn to c5. And I don't like what Rudra shared, this variation. Why will black just allow white to just run away with the pawn and get the queen? Why will black do that? I don't think black is going to move the king after we push the pawn. He won't play the king d4 move. What black will certainly play here is this move. So he will take. And now the real calculation starts. I'm sure all the A batch guys are going to enjoy this. Don't type now anything in the chat. I think you should now focus on the board here. Enjoy this. Enjoy the lecture. Now what happens is white gets a breakthrough, but black pawn is pushing. So b7, black pawn is pushing. b8 and queen on the board. And now c2. It is at this point that you should know how exactly it is that we will ever manage to stop the pawn from queening. There are many ways. I'm going to show you the long cut on the board, which is like attacking the pawn. The king will come for the rescue. Then you give a check. Then run into millions, a million other checks, and then slowly try to bring your king into the game, and then probably win the pawn. This is a very long method, and that is why I've incorporated this position in today's lecture. You are going to love the next move by white, but instead of, as usual, me just giving it out, let me give you 1 minute. So let's see if we can do that in 1 minute. In 1 minute, I want you to find out what should be white's next move. And those who especially love sharing the first move, here is your chance. 1 minute, and tell me what is white's best next move. Let us pull the chat as well to see if people get it. Queen h8 checkmate. How on earth is that possible? Queen h8 checkmate. Queen c8. Queen e5 check. Kshitish Datta is saying queen e5 check. Kshitish should type properly. Capital Q please. And Shreyan Godbole, you should also. Queen capital Q please. And Atharva is saying that queen d8 is the best move. Well, if you play queen d8, I think he's preparing for something. Queen d6, queen b2, all moves coming in. In a way, you are hinting at what you want to do. I'm happy. And yes, Vihang has come up with the perfect move here. It's queen h2. 100%. The best move here is queen h2. And I am now going to take you to the board to see why that is so. Indeed, queen h2 is a remarkable move. Now, those who are wondering what? Queen h2, will black not promote the pawn? Yes. The idea of playing this move is now if black simply promotes, do you see a skewer here? Yes. What is a skewer here, guys? I'm sure you see the skewer. Well, the skewer here is the queen h6 move. And after that, winning is just finishing off with a queen and king checkmate. That is the only thing, okay? Now, the other thing is, if the king probably goes someplace else, let's say king d3 or something like that, well then of course there are a lot of ways through which you can execute your plan, give the checks and get to the c1 square, and then manage your win. By the way, in such cases, if you can plant your queen on the queening square, black becomes helpless. The king cannot chase the queen away. So that technique is really very important. So now I want you to write it down and I'll be with you in a minute. All right. Well, I hope you definitely got the point of it all. There is a long cut. I'm going to show you the long cut as well. Those who think that queen h2 is quite complicated, but here is a simple technique to do that. But first of all, what you do is queen c7. The point being that you're straight away attacking the pawn. So maybe king d7, king d3, whatever. And then you start giving checks. Check, 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 and check. Okay. And any time, well, if the king leaves the pawn, then of course you threaten the pawn again. King comes back, you give the check. And anytime when the king like this comes ahead of the pawn, it will allow you the chance to bring your king in the game. So again, when the king moves, here again will be your opportunity to give a check. The point being that the king can always come in the game. Here, in fact, bringing instead of bringing the king, because it's a bishop pawn, you can actually give a check and probably try to pin. So let's say instead of playing this, we give a check, king goes here, pin it. Now here the queen pins it, but there are many ways to actually execute this check. Here the king comes up. Every time that the king comes in front of the pawn, you can start pulling your king towards the pawn. But there are many ways to do this, but yes, you can go ahead and practice this position on Lichess. All right, and now we will go ahead and find out what is installed for the second position for today. Third, in fact the third. If we count the game, then this is the third thing we are going to study. So this is the position that we have to study. Again, it is white to play here, and with white to play, the thing is that, is it a win? Can black draw this? Because it's a question of rook versus 3 pawns. As usual, I am going to leave you with your time control, and the time that you will have is a couple of minutes. So your time starts now. White to play, and will white win this? Will black win this? What do you think? Whatever is your calculation, tell me in the chat window. Well, in the last position, you should not allow the king to go on the b8 corner. Yes, that is a fact. That's why I actually gave queen a1 check and pulled the king the other way, because it's a bishop pawn. It's a very important thing to note there. So I might just revisit that position and show you the same position later. (40 more seconds for this position at least. So some people think that it is white winning here. Jay is saying that black will win. The technique is very interesting here when I demonstrate that as to who will win, whether it's a draw. It is white to play, by the way. It is white to play. Okay, 5 more seconds. Your time is up, and let me now come on the webcam with the chat window to see what our friends are saying. Our friends are saying that this one is a draw, black wins. Many people are saying that black wins. Although it is white to play, they think that black has advanced pass pawns and unstoppable pawns. Draw, win. Okay, white wins is not the answer. Black wins is also not the answer. What white can do best is a draw. So that's the answer. And we will go back, by the way, to the last position to find out how it is that you can have the final position. Some people had the doubt. So I really sincerely recommend that what we should do is go back to the previous position. Let us do that first. I'm going to take you back to the game. But before I do that, let me tell you that Kshitij thinks that the last position, it will be a draw. It won't be a draw. In fact, if you put that and into leeches, it is made in 20 moves, something like that, 20 or 21 moves. I'm going to demonstrate very quickly the long form also and the short form as well. Okay, you can always use leeches to do that at your own convenience. Let us go back to the previous position before we study this one. Okay, just to clarify any doubt anyone has, because it's important. The technique to finish it is very important. Let's go back to that position. This was the position that we were studying, and now let me take you through the complete sequence here. So white plays this, black took, pawn push, black will push the pawn, white pushes the pawn, black pushes, white promotes, c2, and then our move queen h2, and here if king d3, which is the best move. Now we are down to mate in 14 13, I think, something in that region. And now what is going to happen is surprising turn of events. What we have to do, the technique over here is to control the c1 square. So we are going to play queen f4. Now the pawn cannot move, the king has to go somewhere. Let us say he goes to c6, then we, after that, we get to this controlling square, and now the king cannot at all chase our queen away. So then it will be the right time for our majesty to come in the game, and then white will win easily. But let us go back and see what happens if the king goes to other square over here on e2. Well, the same situation. The queen will take the c1 square, and this pawn is attacked. So only move is king d3, and again the same logic that our king can come in the game, not like that, and sincerely finish black easily, because black king cannot chase our queen away. The queen cannot be chased away. So again, the key move over here after queen h2 is this queen f4, controlling the d2 and the c1 square. The logic is to get to the c1 square. Now you should tell me in the chat window if you really enjoyed this, especially Kshitij, if you've understood. This is why queen h2 is my choice. That's a better choice than to go for that long cut. This is how you got to control c1 square, because the queen cannot be chased by the king alone. So let me see what happens. Yes, okay, so that's what our friends are saying. So you can try. Athar was still saying that queen d8 also could win. Well, you can try your own variations on leeches, but this one is pretty interesting, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Now let us find out, go back to our position that we are doing currently. This was the last position. Just for the doubt clarification, we visited this. Okay, so this is the position currently at hand, and most people for this position have said black wins, white wins. Well, it's a draw. White will have to play very carefully in order not to lose. So let us find out this technique. You're going to love this technique. First of all, what white should do in this position is drive the king up the board. Believe me, that's the best way. And then threaten checkmate with the rook. Okay, that is the technique. I'm going to show you. Proper demonstration will be given. Just stop writing or whatever it is and look at the board now. So king b3. Let us say that black is just interested in pushing the pawns. King c4. Let us say black is keen on to get to that winning square quickly. Then we are going to play king c5. Well, now the pawn cannot promote on its own, so let's say he gets support. Or king c6, and now he will play g2. Now he's threatening the pawn promotion, and it is here that we will now play rook a1 check. The first move is king b8, and now we are going to play a simple looking rook b1 check. Now black has to make a choice here. If black just goes on to play king a8, then again rook a1 check, king b8, rook b1 check. So that is an easy draw. But if black is going to take his chances, black will say that I have got a couple of passed pawns. Well, why should I repeat the moves? Well, then what will happen is black has choices. Black could either play king a7 or king c8. Well, let us say first what, let us see what will happen if king a7. Well, again rook a1 check is harassing. Again he is forced to go to king b8, again rook b1 check. So really king a7 is not the choice. So black will have to find another way out of it. This is not working. So after this check, well, black may go king c8. Well, now we will play rook a1 again, because now if black promotes, guess what? We have rook a8 checkmate. What a beautiful checkmate this is. So black has no time to promote. So black will, again, I have clarified that if black comes back, we will start harassing him with checks. So black king is going to go to d1. D8. Now what you do is threaten the checkmate again. We will not leave this opposition. I'm sure everybody is enjoying this. We are not going to leave this opposition. Now again, anytime the pawn promotes, we are going to have rook a8 checkmate. So again, if he decides to come king c8, well then again king c6. So king d8, king d6. Black king might try to run away. King e6, king f8, king f6, king g8. And now it is here, well, oops, not there. Now it is here again that we have beautiful setup. Here, white should not fall for the trap and play king g6. This is a blunder. White should not play king g6. Do you see why? Do you see why this cannot be played? Very important, guys. Why can't we play king g6 here? Because black will now promote to a queen with a check. It's a very important thing. And after rook takes, black will have another queen, and now it is black winning here. That's why one has to be very careful after king g8 not to play king g6, because after king g6 black will promote and black will win. So what is the technique here? After this we will give rook a8 check. Black's move is forced king h7, and now we will play rook a7 check. Again, if king h8 or g8, again that rook check, again the rook check. So black might try to run this way, and now we will go rook a8 threatening this mate because we have the opposition. Well, black now might try to run this way with king h5, and now king f5. Again, if he tries to go back, we will continue the draw. If he tries to escape, now we are going to gobble up the pawns. If now there is a threat that we have, you need to tell me in the chat window, can black play king h3 here? Can black play king h3 here? Can black play king h3 here? Very important. Can actually black go king h3? Because of rook h8 checkmate. We got the answer. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Correct. So if he plays king h3, you all are right. Rook h8 is just checkmate. And of course, the pawn promotion is impossible because of the opposition. Again, king h5. Well, if black does that, again king f5. And now there is no escaping the threefold repetition. Very, very important. And in this manner, white can hold black to a draw, where we were on this position. I am sure that you simply enjoyed this position. You can actually go ahead and put this on leeches and find it out. This is really fabulous position to study, and especially that king g6 move. You should not play king g6 because the pawn will promote, and after that, well, black will win. Beautiful. Absolutely. So let us go to the next position. I'm sure you've enjoyed this one. What I want you to do is not write the solution, but I will give you 1 minute time to write down the position. Well, this is the position. You can write down the position, and I'll give you about a minute for that. So this was the starting position. You can study that and write down in your notepad the solution. I've already shown it to you here. Just write down the position fairly quickly. In fact, less than a minute. Come on, be quick. Please let me know in the chat window once you are ready. 2 minutes for you to do this position. I don't want the complete solution. I don't want you to just tell me the first move. So if you can get the complete answer in 1.5 minutes, well, that will be fantastic. White to play. White just has a knight. Remember that it is not sufficient mating material, but in this case, I think white has something special. Kshitij just shared a line. Everybody make sure that you have your own line ready. Type it properly. You have enough time at hand. All right. This is the third position we are doing. Great. You can hear me again. So 20 more seconds. Do you agree with what Kshitij's line is? King c2, king a1, knight d4, king a2, knight e2, king a1, knight c1, a2, and knight b3 checkmate is what he said. Rajna has bothered to type 4 letters. She's saying SAME. Okay. And let me now reveal. When Nijapkar has bothered to type the first move only. I said not just the first move. I did not want you to type just the first move. I told you, don't just show me your talent with the first move. I don't want your first move. I want you to calculate the line. And yes, Kshitij indeed has got the perfect continuation. And congratulations, Kshitij. I'm going to show everybody the line. This is how it will be executed. White will indeed play king c2. It is mate in 5, in fact. All the moves are forced. All the moves are forced. That's why I wanted you to type the entire line. King a1 is forced. Knight will go to d4, not b4, d4. Again, The point being that if black just pushes the pawn to a2, knight b3 is mate. If black plays a2, then knight b3 is checkmate. So why will black play that? Black will play king a2. After that, white will play knight e2, king a1 is forced. Then white will play knight c1. And now king a2 is not an option because of the knight. So a2 and finally knight b3 is a wonderful checkmate. What a beautiful sequence it is. Again, I'm sure that you all loved it because knight is considered insufficient material, but because of the pawn and the king's position, we were able to carry out a mating sequence of 5 moves. Wonderful indeed. Let us see what our friends are saying in the chat window. So people are saying that they had the same answer, but next time bother to type the entire answer, not just the first move. Don't just say same, at least bother to cut, copy, paste. All right, let me take you back to the board and bring up the next position. This is a very interesting position. I want you to calculate until checkmate. And by the way, white has to be careful here because there is a chance that you might just stalemate your opponent. I don't want the first move. Let me come again on camera to tell you that. I am not interested in the first move. Continuation. I want you to tell me the complete sequence right until checkmate. That you should be able to see. Okay. It is mate in 7 moves. You can see properly. 7 moves checkmate. So let us see if you can do that in a couple of minutes. Okay. 2 minutes. Prajna is saying not enough time to write. Well, 2 minutes, 7 moves is okay. I will see you now in a minute and a half. Spend your time doing some neat calculation, guys. Remember, there is a threat that you can stalemate your opponent. We've got to be careful here, guys. Half a minute more. It is mate in 7, I said. So whatever Jay is saying is okay and winning, but it is not winning in 7 moves. Manas, you are also in agreement to what Jay is saying, but it is not mate in 7. Yes, you will win, but not mate in 7. So this is what mate in 7 is. In fact, what Kshitij has also typed is not mate in 7. It is very important that you calculate it is mate in 7. Let me execute that on the board now. I hope you are all ready to see it done on the board. So let me take you through the moves quickly. First, let me show you the threat, guys. The threat is that if you try to force the king out of that corner, you might stalemate. So let me show you that first. Well, let's say if you continue with king c5, or black goes king a8, and then if you play king c6, well, guess what? It's stalemate. Black cannot take the pawn, and black king has no squares to go, but black is not in check. It is stalemate. I'm sure you understood that. It is a very important thing. It's embarrassing. So the right way to play here in this situation, which is mate in 7, is you play a8 equal to queen check. The forced move is king takes a8. There is no other move. And instead of going king a6 as people recommend, which will be mate in 11, guys, this will be mate in 6. You got to play king c6. Look at the forced variation. King b8, b7, king a7, king c7, king a6, b8 equal to queen. By the way, yes, king b7, king here, king c7, king a6, b8 equal to queen, king a5, and now mate in 2 after queen b3, king a6, and queen b6 is checkmate. Of course, you should go ahead and put this. I've time and again said you should put this into leeches to find out, and it is remarkable, especially if you're playing a game where you're really down on time. Such decent sequence training will help you. All right, we will now go ahead and do one more position. That is what the time will allow us. We will do one more position. Let me immediately take you there. This is the position. Well, in fact, let us go and study this position. I'm interested in doing this position because I feel that there is more beauty in this position. It is white to play, and well, I give you a couple of minutes as usual. Think about it. It is white to play, and white is winning here. Your time starts now. White is winning here. Try to type the complete line if you can, as far ahead as you see. This will be our last position. About 35 seconds more. Some students they think king a6, king a6, king a6. The pawn is already on a6. I don't think king a6. Okay. Fine then. Your time is up, and now it's my turn to show you. This position is also something that will add to your chess knowledge. What's happening here is a7 is indeed the first move. There's no doubt about that. a7. The point of it all is that black rook cannot go to a1 to just stop the pawn from queening. So that is the main thing here. Of course, what happens is that black rook might try to go to g8. So if rook g8, then what will happen is white will play an in-between move and play bishop g3 check. If rook takes, Then of course you have the pawn promotion, and you know that queen against rook, white will win. If the king moves to some other square, the rook doesn't take the bishop in order to control the queening square. Well, then white just plays bishop b8, and look at the fantastic positioning. And of course the threat is now that the pawn will just go to a8 and queen. Absolutely amazing. However, there is one more trick involved here. I'm sure you actually, some of you at least saw that. There is one more trick here. I'm going to share that trick with you, and you will enjoy learning that as well. What happens is that in case over here after a7, black decides to give a check. I'm going to give you that line as well. If that happens, the white king should go b1, and of course if black gives a check, there is no point going king b2, because again there will be harassment with the check. So we have to, if we go up, let's say after this check, if we go king b3, what happens in this case is that rook can go to g8 to stop this pawn promotion. And again you will wonder, say sir, we had this bishop move, right? Yeah, but in this case it doesn't work, because now after bishop takes it, rook takes, it is going to be a check. It's a very important thing to remember. What a nice calculation to do. So after this check, it is not wise to go with our king. One move can actually destroy winning prospects for white. So we have to go b1 here. I will tell you why. Because now if the rook tries to give a check, well, the move that I like a lot here is this bishop move. What a beautiful interception. This is, you got to love chess for such reasons. What a beautiful intercept this is. Now you might wonder, what is that? The point of this is that after rook takes, we cannot promote, because yes, there is a check, and it is here that we can go king b2, rook check, king b3. Notice every time the king will stop rook from coming onto the a file to stop this pawn. That's not possible. Rook check, king b4, rook e4 check, and now king b5. And now look at the position of the king and rook, and that is why our pawn will now safely promote. This is absolutely incredible, and I want you to actually go ahead and put this, maybe set up the board. This is amazing. So I like this position especially because of this bishop interception. This move is very important, guys. After this, you now start moving up, and now he doesn't have any more checks. Of course, he can play rook b4, but the rook will be lost. And in earlier sequence, after a7, should he go, let's say, rook g8, then what we had is this bishop check, and after the king moves, we have bishop b8 with this pawn and bishop position. All and all, I am sure that you love the position that I shared with you today. Also remember, we started with that Dutch defense game. It is now time for us to stop. Make sure that you probably visit this lecture again. If there is any position that you want to study, put that into Lichess. Share your observations with me. Up until next time, take care, stay home, stay safe, and stay fit. Okay, we will meet again soon. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care. Bye bye.